Hey everyone, it's True. And seeing as we're going into September and all, I think it's safe to say that we're all going into a new season. Literally, we're about to experience fall, which is my favorite season, might I just add. But some of us are also going into a new school season or a new work season, and you may not necessarily class them as seasons, but I know you get what I mean. Now, there are two key things about this new season and every new season you will ever go through. And that is, it is inevitable. Whether you like it or not, a new season is going to happen. And secondly, new things can and will always happen in a new season. Now, I'm pretty sure that you guys know this already. Maybe not in those words, but the general concept is understandable. So, we always get one of two choices, and that is we can either embrace it or we can ignore it. You can be going into a new school season and just be like,
yeah, I'm going into a new school year, like I have done every year since I was 4. It's really no big deal, not much is going to happen, except for the workload or whatnot. And it's just school, like, yawn.
And trust me, I did that all 6 years of my entire high school experience, and for the most part, I was fine. But thinking on it, it's not really the advice that I would give. Because you see, when you ignore a new season rather than embrace it, you're perhaps missing out on some of the great things that can happen. And let me tell you something about embracing it. There's a promise that I can make you. I promise, in this new season, both good and bad things will happen. Like motorbikes revving in the background of your video. That's just the way that it is. And the important question here, as will be with every video on this channel, is, well, what's God got to do with any of this? And the answer is Isaiah 43 verse 19. See, he says, "For I am about to do a new thing." See? I've already begun. Don't you see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will make rivers in the dry wastelands. And you see, where I talked about inevitability, I got from the fact that he's about to do a new thing. See, God doesn't need anybody's permission or time schedule or approval to know when to do a new thing. He's just going to do it. And you know what? Believe it or not, see it or not, he's already begun. It is happening. You've just got to see it. And my favorite part in this verse is the part about the pathways and the rivers. And not just because it's a pathway through the wilderness, that's quite helpful, and rivers in dry places, that is really quite great. Thank you. But specifically because it says through the wilderness and in the dry places. You see, God is not a genie. You don't rub the lamp 3 times and wish to be out of the wilderness, and then wish to be out of the dry wastelands, and then wish for a new puppy, and you just get it. See, he is saying, I know that you're in a crazy situation. You're in the wilderness, right? And that's where you are. But if you see it, if you look, you'll see I've made a path for you. I'm going to help you get through this. You're still going to have to go through all the crazy. But I'm going to help you. I want to help you. If you'll let me. He's saying, you're in the wastelands. You're in the dry wastelands. I can see that. So this new season, I will make rivers for you. And all you've got to do is see them. Well, you see, it's not all that you've got to do is see them. You can see the pathway and choose not to go down it. You can see the rivers in the dry wastelands and do nothing about it. And this really reminds me of something that Scott Wilson said when he came to visit our church, Hillsong Church Amsterdam, the best place to be on a Sunday. But he said, live in the lift. Now, he was talking about salvation in terms of when you come to Christ, when you are saved, and the fact that that's not just the end of it. It's not just that and then you just move on with the rest of your life. But there is a lift involved. But you've got to live in it in order to experience it. Here's a great example. I hate being physically lifted. Like, I hate being in the air by someone else lifting me. And my mom always used to tell me that I make myself impossible to lift. It wasn't about me being heavy, even though I always worried about that. It wasn't about me being heavy. It was that I was doing something with my body that made me feel heavier than I really was. And thus, my poor mother could not lift me for the life of her. And I feel like we do that a lot. There are new situations that can go really well, but we're making ourselves, our situations, heavier than they need to be. For whatever reason, we can even be doing it without knowing it. But it makes it harder for us to experience that lift. Because we can see the pathway and the river, but we can also just not use it. That's the choice that we have. So if there's any advice that I want to give through this video, it would be live in that lift. Choose today that from September onwards, you're just gonna see this new time of your life. See this as a new time of your life and look out for all the things that you can use to help you through it and then use them. One of those things I would really advise you to use is God, because He's got all the answers to your questions. He's there. No, He's no genie, so you can't wish to be out of debt and then boom, there you go. But He's gonna help you through it. That I can promise you from experience. So if there's any more that you want to know from Him through somebody who's had one heck of a roller coaster with this entire thing, then please join me in another video next week and we'll just keep talking to each other and hanging out and seeing what God has to do with any aspect of our lives. So I hope you enjoyed this video, because trust me, it's true.